A very good morning to you. Friday is here with us again. Welcome to Jam 316, not Freedom Friday, Lifestyle Friday. It is so good to have you on board. For those watching us on TV, karibuni sana. Now, we are emotional beings. Whether we like it or not, we are emotional beings. But sometimes our emotions get the best of us. You do something and then later on you ask yourself, what was I thinking? Do we understand our emotions? Do we acknowledge our emotions? Are we emotionally healthy? Those are some of the questions we want to tackle this morning as we talk about emotional health. What is it? Why is it important? And how do I stay healthy emotionally as an individual? And as always, I invite your questions, your thoughts, your feedback on this whole topic. Your experiences are welcome. 20316 is the SMS line. WhatsApp number is 0786 316 316. In the next short while, I will be introducing to us our guest for today to help us gain a deeper understanding on issues emotional health. In studio with me, a friend and a guest today. I call her Pastor Doctor. Pastor Dr. Wangeshi, how are you doing?
I'm good.
It is good to have you on board.
Nice to be back.
Emotions. I'm even wondering, where do we begin? I feel so emotional.
I have no idea. Oh, really?
But when we talk about emotional health, what are we talking about?
We're talking about something completely complex. Very, very complex.
Okay.
Because you would have to start at what are emotions then? Yeah. What is this that we, before we can get healthy or unhealthy in it, what are emotions?
Yeah.
No, you just said you're getting very emotional. What are you doing? You know?
Yeah.
So if you try to think about emotions, they can get very complex because we're talking about feelings. And really, if you wanted to even split hairs, you can differentiate between an emotion and a feeling.
Oh. It's not the same thing.
No. If you wanted to really split them, you would go down to an emotion is different from a feeling. But let's not go there.
Okay.
Let's just say that emotions are feelings that we experience, and they have to do with our circumstances. What are the prevailing circumstances in a person's life?
Yeah.
And that may dictate the emotions that they're going through at the time. Emotions also have to do with our mood. You woke up on the wrong side of the bed. We used to say you woke up on the wrong side, so you're moody, whatever. And therefore, because of that mood, what sort of emotions are you experiencing? Okay. Also has to do with the people around us.
You.
Your emotions are not just your own. They have a way of affecting and spilling over to the next person. Or to other people. So when you're talking emotions, it's not just what is happening inside of you, what feelings are you feeling, what is happening outside of you that is making you feel that way, but also how is what you're feeling affecting the other person next to you. So it's a very complex sort of thing. And I think emotions are some of the things that we don't ever get to discuss. We don't find ourselves discussing emotions.
Why is that so? If they're such an important part of who we are as human beings, why is it that we tend to ignore?
One, I think the greatest thing is our socialization.
Okay.
The generation we're now bringing up is slightly different from how we were brought up. I don't know, Percy, if you grew up the same way I did. But growing up, there was no room to express emotion.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe you could say you're happy, but any other emotion, especially a negative emotion like anger or irritability, they were not supposed to be expressed. And there is an unspoken thing in our socialization that said emotions are weak.
It's still there, yeah.
Oh, it's still there?
Yeah, emotions are.
Oh, like especially men.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've never cried your whole life because it's weak for a man to cry.
I could show you buckets of tears, my friend. I've cried enough times.
Yeah, but you see, it's not
Mostly
seen as a manly... Yeah, I see. Why were we hiding? Because it's not seen like a manly thing.
Yes.
And women, even... Okay, it's not manly to cry. When women cry, unajua wa mama. So it's still a weak thing, whether it's done by a man or a woman.
Yes.
If it's a woman crying, women are weak. Shauri yao achana nao. If it's a man, why are you crying like a woman?
Yeah.
Do you see?
Yeah.
I think the only people who are allowed to cry are babies.
Yeah.
Until a certain age, and then you're told you're not a
Unalia,
baby
lia,
anymore.
kama mtoto.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we grew up in environments that didn't allow us to express our emotions. So for most part, a lot of us learned to shut them in, ignore them,
Yeah.
never acknowledge them, you know. And you realize that as an adult, when you're now free to express your emotions, both positive and negative, you have a very difficult time.
Especially the negative ones.
Anger.
Yeah.
How do you express anger? Are we allowed to be angry?
Even for believers.
Well, believers are going to heaven. Who has time for anger?
Yeah.
But
Are
you
we
see-
allowed to be angry?
Yes, yes. Anger is a very basic emotion. It's a very basic emotion. It is godly to be angry. Does God get angry? Does he? How many times in the Bible do you read God was angry, either with the children of Israel or
Yes.
whoever? He gets angry. Does the Bible tell us to be angry? Yes, by the way, it does. Be angry, but do not sin.
Yeah. In your anger, do not
That's
sin.
the only caveat.
Yeah.
Don't, it doesn't say don't get angry, because that would be too, unrealistic. We have occasions all the time, every day, to get angry.
angry.
But when you get angry, the Bible tells you how to. Don't sin.
I think then that's where the challenge comes in. Because when these emotions come up, how you express them.
Exactly. That's where health will come in. That's where your emotional health will now come in. First of all, are you able to acknowledge your emotions, both positive and negative?
When we are talking about acknowledging, Pastor Doctor, what exactly are we saying? Are we saying, I come to terms with the fact that, you know what, I am angry.
Yes.
And I-
Exactly.
and I voice
exactly
it?
that. And voice it and acknowledge it. You know what? I am so angry at so and so because. It is not in a vacuum. It's not anger in a vacuum.
Yes.
It is anger because. So, how many of us get to that place where I am angry with so and so because of 1, 2, 3, 4? And when I want to voice that, I can say it to them. You know, when you did 1, 2, 3, it made me feel bad, and I felt angry, and without insulting them, without resulting to fist fights and everything. How many of us can? Because that's what emotional health is about. I acknowledge this.
Yeah.
I acknowledge the emotion in me, whatever it is, and I am able to control myself with that emotion and to express it appropriately.
I'm just thinking, in many of our cultures, that would come off as being too direct.
Because you're not supposed to be expressing.
Because our culture is sasa fit, even though I'm dying on the inside. You know, we there's some things we don't say. You know, you don't say you are angry.
Why not?
You just say it's okay.
No,
Ni sawa
but
tu.
that's where we go wrong, Percy.
Yes.
That's where we go wrong, because we don't actually. Do you see, when we are going back to how are we brought up?
Yeah.
Don't acknowledge, don't even express it, don't even mention it, and we live our lives that way.
It's like it's non-existent.
Yes, it's almost like these emotions are there, but nobody acknowledges them, nobody expresses them well, nobody speaks about it. We don't even ask each other, how should I express this? And it's not just the negative emotions.
Yeah.
I hear men have trouble trying to express love.
Hey, don't even go there.
Why? It's a positive thing. And then you would
Yes.
think we would thrive on that one. Why are we still having trouble?
Hey, you reminded me of you reminded me of this thing that was trending some years back, of this men who men were together, just hanging out, and then one man said, I want every one of us to send an SMS to our wives and just say, honey, I love you, and let's wait for the responses. So the
Oh,
men sent
no.
SMSs, honey, I love you, and then the responses started coming back. What have you done?
Clearly.
Another one is, are you okay? Another one
You
was,
have never expressed
so, how much have you lost this time?
that. Okay.
Yeah. Meaning it's not something that is expressed.
It is not something you express on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Or even a weekly basis, or even a monthly basis. I mean, basically, it's something we don't express.
Yeah.
So the day you say, honey, I love you, I get instantly suspicious. There must be something behind this I love you thing.
Yeah.
But you can imagine if this is a husband and wife, you'd have thought how much love is passing between them.
Yes.
Then you realize, okay, there was nothing going on. So why? Love is counted as a positive emotion. Why are we still having trouble with the positive?
But you see, even growing up, our parents never expressed these emotions to each other.
We say it's
I can't
African.
Have I ever seen my dad kiss my mom? No. Have I ever seen
You'd
my
have
dad
fainted.
hug my mom?
You would have fainted if you had seen it.
But that's expressing emotions. That's what we're talking
Yes,
about. Yeah.
but you see, remember we're saying we grew up not allowed to express. Whether it's a positive one or a negative one, rarely were we given the avenue to express it.
Yeah.
So even if it's love, again, if a man expresses too much love, it's seen as weakness.
Yes.
Amekaliwa.
Amekaliwa chapati, my friend.
Kabisa. You
Yes.
see? If a woman expresses achana na, women are emotional.
Yeah.
Everyone just goes, women are emotional. You don't even dwell on what does being emotional mean. So if a woman expresses love, achana na mama, that's how they are. So you're not also being taken seriously. So do you see both ways, whether it's a negative emotion or a positive emotion, we have trouble with it. But maybe we shouldn't. And this is where then emotional health will come in.
Okay.
What do we mean by being healthy? And that's what we are saying. It is when we can acknowledge an emotion inside of us. And before we even express it, we have acknowledged it completely.
Do you think our relationships
owned
would
it.
be better
By
on
far.
every front if we were honest enough to acknowledge our emotions and what we are feeling and what we are going through, honestly?
Yes, by far. You see, when you meet with someone and they say, Pastor James, how are you? Do you honestly think they want to know how you are? They don't even listen to your answer.
No.
They go straight on to the next thing. Ile show yako. How you are is forgotten instantly.
Yeah.
So nobody really cares how you are. I mean, really. So even when we ask, it's more it's a polite way of acknowledging that I've seen Pasi. Pasi, how are you?
Fine.
Before you can say you're fine, I'm on to the next thing. Because I really didn't want to know. And you were not even about to tell me how you are.
Yeah.
You were not going to say it anyway.
Yeah.
That's why you are. Niko sawa, niko poa. But imagine if, again, wisdom does call Pasi. We don't go expressing our...
To everybody.
No.
Yeah.
So wisdom does call. And wisdom, when we talk about wisdom calling, it means we are healthy to know when to express it, who to express it to, how to express it. You see?
Yeah.
That takes us back to emotional health.
Yeah.
Do we know when to express it? Like in a marriage setting, if I wanted to express a negative emotion to my husband, maybe, would I do it in front of the kids and in the middle of dinner and, just when everybody was sitting quietly doing their thing? And another thing, yesterday you did and you said, now, is there any health or maturity in that?
No.
Because you bring in people that were not even concerned with this thing. How about you wait for him in the bedroom or in the sitting room? Well, others are not there.
Yeah.
And you talk about it.
Yeah.
Now, when you do wait for him, so let's say we have the right setting, how do we say it? Are we going to be screaming about it so loud that we bring back the people who had left, wondering,
what is happening?
Third World War just broke out here.
Yes.
Do you see? So in every way, we are being called to be so cognizant of the feeling, what it is, how do we handle it, how do we express it, who do we express it to, and when, all those things.
Yes.
That's maturity, and it is also emotional health.
Okay. Shortly, we'll talk about what are the dangers of bottling up all these emotions. Where you just... unajikaza kisabuni. Jikaze, wewe ni mwanaume.
Mwanaume ni kujikaza.
Mwanaume ni kujikaza. And so you have all these emotions but you bottle them up. What are the dangers of that? As men, we find it hard to express some emotions. We really find it hard to express some of them. And so we suppress a lot of things on the inside.
We started with emotions are seen as weakness.
Yeah.
Any expression of emotions is seen as a weakness. And I think that's completely a misconception.
Yeah.
It should be a place of strength, because I'll be able to tell you exactly what I think, what I feel. Remember, that doesn't give you a license to be rude. So when I say I want to express an emotion, maturity and emotional health must come into play so that I express it to you without hurting you in return, without, belittling you.
Yeah.
I'll just be telling you, this is how you made me feel. If it's a positive thing, this is what it is. If it's a negative thing, this is what you made me feel.
Yeah.
And in expressing that, I will not belittle you, I won't hurt you, I will not make you feel, it's not a retaliation, so I want you to feel as bad as I felt. It's really to just let you know.
Okay.
I want to tell you something else, Pastor James. Do you realize that a lot of times there are people who go through this life having never acted? All they ever do is react. We don't ever act. We react.
We react.
Yes. So other people dictate what we will feel, what we will say, and how we deal with matters.
Yeah.
And that in itself is an unhealthy thing. Because if I came in studio and I insulted you, you don't have to insult me back.
Yeah.
You can choose to look at me and wonder, okay, what's wrong with her?
Yeah.
Or, I'm not up to this. I don't think I want to deal with it now. But if you keep quiet about it now, that doesn't mean you do not call me out on it. It means like after a day when you've tried to figure out what exactly was wrong with her, you'll call me and say, hey, we need to talk about yesterday. I'm not sure what happened, but did I do something to upset you? Now you're not reacting. Now you're acting. A lot of us react. Somebody does something, you react to it. Somebody says something, you react to it. We never stop long enough to even process and synthesize and then make a decision. Am I going to respond now? Is this something I can ignore for the rest of my life? There are things that we don't always take to their conclusive end, because that conclusive end is a bad end.
Yes.
So how do you decide? Do you take time? Because again, do you see that is emotional maturity?
Yes.
I didn't let my feelings and emotions take me over, and so you called me one name, I give you 20.
Listen to this one. Good morning. I can attest to having emotions blow up in, and it brought out what I call verbal diarrhea. And looking back, I can't believe that it was me who said all those things to a relative, and he never done so since. Have never done so since. How do you even begin to apologize once you have said things you regret and you can't take them back?
It's humbling.
Verbal diarrhea.
Yes, it's humbling to go back to this person.
Yeah.
Do you? If I don't know, she doesn't give the circumstances or of what happened.
Yeah.
But a lot of those, blow-ups are because you've been piling up this thing. You've been piling.
That's what I want to talk about.
Kakukosea.
Yeah.
Ukanyamaza. But the keeping quiet we're talking about is not the healthy one. You're sitting inside, but didn't say a word. Yes. This is a rela.
Yes.
So I won't say anything, but I'm waiting for the next time. Then they come again, because you didn't tell them anything last time. They come again. And then they still make another mistake, or they say something dumb. Relatives are gifted in saying dumb things.
So you can say that again.
Oh, yeah. So they say something dumb, and you're thinking, no, you just didn't do that again. By the time sasa unanizoea. By the time they've done it a third or a fourth time, and you blow up, the things you will say.
You're taking it from the beginning, yeah?
You're starting 5 years ago,
Yes.
or 10 years ago,
Yes.
or when I was a teenager. Remember when I was in Form 2? You did. When I was in Form 4, you did. At my age, I'm still going back those many
Yes.
years. So what happens, and that's why when we're talking about maturity and emotional health, if somebody has offended you, deal with it the soonest you can, not necessarily immediately. Because immediately you might do something you are not, you're not prepared for. And that's why I'm saying don't react. Act.
Yeah.
So when you do that, you will keep clearing this. You don't have to carry baggage with you. You come clearing stuff. If not, then they pile up, whether it's a relative or at home, within a marriage. You pile up things. I don't know why men say they don't remember. Because I know sometimes you raise something and somebody has a blank look. I don't even remember this happening. Meanwhile, I have every small detail of it.
Yes.
And you wonder, are you pretending, or do you honestly not remember?
Honestly don't remember.
Okay, maybe men, by your very wiring, are able to clear baggage easily. Women don't.
Yes.
So I can go back to before we got married. What did you do? As we were planning our wedding, what did you do?
Yes.
On the wedding day, what did you do? During our honeymoon, what did you do? And you can go on and on.
Wow.
And it's been 24 years and still counting.
Yes.
So you can imagine how much I would. How can you live with this? Do you know it's like a load you're carrying? This load is not on your back. It's here.
Wow.
And then we wonder why people are erupting and doing crazy things. You wonder why something small. You know, literally when they say the straw that broke the camel's back, the camel's back was already loaded. It wasn't it was just the last straw. The straw was probably weightless. That's why when we look at that, we say, but that is something so small. Why did they blow up over this? The reaction is not equal to what it is that was done. But this is a pile up. And this is what happens when we don't deal with these emotions, the offenses. And you know the Bible is so, I love the Bible. It's so clear. Offenses will always come. I mean, like, get used to the thought. You will always be offended. People will come and do things they shouldn't do. They'll say things they should not say. How do you deal with it? You get angry. You don't say it until the day you blow up.
Wow.
What about our children? How do we deal with them? And what do we model to them? If I model to my children that the only way to express anger is when I'm shouting and breaking things in the house, guess what? Next week, this week it was me breaking stuff. Next week it will be my daughter or my son breaking stuff. Because that's how we do it.
In fact, Pastor, I want to ask you, how do you deal with a situation where you have maybe a sibling or a spouse, they keep reacting and they keep apologizing. They keep blowing up. When they're angry, there's a tornado in the house. And then when things cool down, they come back and they apologize. And they're very apologetic. But then 2 weeks down the line, something else happens and they blow up again. How do you deal with somebody like that?
Pastor James, if I know that you always take my crap and you take it with grace all the time, why do I need to change? Why do I need to change? If there are no consequences to our actions, why do we need to stop doing what we do?
We don't need to.
I mean, do you remember when it was almost a mantra? I think it was 2013. Was it 2013? It was almost a mantra in Kenya. Choices have consequences.
Yes, choices have consequences.
Yes, but it's so true. Choices do have consequences. A lot of the times, again, because when this person behaves the way they do, and then they come and apologize, and then we are all there extending all manner of grace. Okay, it's all right. I forgive you. Ni sawa tu. Anakwaga hivyo. Really? Then you always allow them to get away with it. If they always get away with it, why do they feel the need to change? They don't. And even if it was you, why would you want to change? It works for you. I do. And sometimes, and a lot of times, this becomes a way of, if I cannot tell you to your face, because look, we are saying we don't even know how to express.
We don't know.
So if I cannot tell you in a very amicable way. Look, umenikosea, I feel this and this and the other. How about I do my usual, I burst and I scream words and I say, and then I come, I'm so sorry, but I've already told you what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
And the next time you do something, I'll come in again. It will be another tornado, and I'll tell you everything I think about you. Those are the days I'll tell you how ugly you look. In fact, then I come, I didn't mean it. But I've already said it. We don't call out these people. We need to call out that behavior completely. And there must be consequences for what you do. So let them know. Let them know. Is there a consequence for this? Next time it happens? And if you say there's a consequence, please follow it through all the way. Yes, all the way. Okay. Whether with children or people in your life, let them know. I know someone who, she's a friend of mine, and I find that very strange. I admire it, but I don't think I have the guts.
Yeah.
She can call you and tell you, because of 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't consider you a friend anymore, and I am after this I'm going to delete your number. Oh. Yes.
And she actually goes ahead.
She's not screaming at you.
No.
She's just yeah. Remember, you've done 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't consider you a friend anymore. So I was calling to let you know, and I am now going to delete your number.
She even has the courtesy to call you to let you know.
Yes.
That's a person in control, my friend.
Exactly. And when you know your number has been deleted, you will not be saying, I don't know, message you nilimfanyia nini. You will know exactly what you did.
Yes.
And if that friendship is broken, you know exactly why it broke. How many people go around saying, so and so doesn't talk to me? Mi hata sijui nilimkosea aje.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Because nobody voiced it, nobody is saying it.
Yeah.
We need to own our emotions, whatever they are. We need to own them. This is how I feel now. Once you own it, and you've acknowledged it is anger, it is fear, it is anxiety, it is love, or disappointment, it is shame, it is guilt, every one of those, whatever you're feeling, own it. And once you own it, now you'll be saying, I feel this way. Like the person who's just written.
Yeah.
They started with anger. That was the primary. Remember, and I was explaining to you the primary emotions and secondary emotions. Yeah. The primary emotion was anger.
Yeah.
Then she acted. Now her primary emotion, her secondary emotion is shame. How do I go back to this person?
Yes.
Shame, guilt,
Yeah, I wonder, do they even know that's where they are right now?
So the primary one is what you felt initially that propelled you. The secondary one is the one you feel for a long time. Ooh. Like they say, you act in haste and you repent at leisure.
Yeah.
While you're repenting at leisure, this is the secondary emotion that takes a long time.
Yes.
Anger may come and you act, and then you're left with a feeling of shame.
Okay.
That takes that long. So you don't want to face this person, Now, what do? Go to this person. Call them up. Swallow your pride.
Yes.
Call them up. Remind them you remember that day. I just wanted to tell you, I am so sorry. I have carried this with me for this long. I don't want to carry it. And I don't want it to bring, some bad relationship or bad blood between us. A lot of normal people will take that apology.
I like that. A lot of normal people.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, do you know how humbling it is for someone to do that?
Yeah.
A lot of normal people will say, okay, let's...
Yeah. It's okay.
Don't sweat
it, it's okay. As opposed to you carrying it for a long...
You're carrying...
What are you doing to yourself when you're carrying this guilt and this shame?
When you're carrying this guilt and this shame, now it starts eating on the inside of you. And by the way, you start acting up even more. Think. If you're carrying guilt about something you did to someone, never went back to them even to apologize, when you see them, what do? You keep acting dumb, isn't it?
Yes.
Either you walk away, so they're thinking, Okay, you don't even have the courtesy to say hello. You're walking away in shame or guilt,
Yeah.
but because mwanaume ni kujikaza, you
Yeah.
So do you see, you're compounding this, and it's bound to affect other people. Remember, we said your emotions are not just your own.
Yes.
They spill out to other people.
Yes.
Who are the other people seeing how you relate and how you treat other people?
And sometimes you take it out on others, because I've seen that also. You're in a place of authority, or you're a leader of sorts, and you have these issues, maybe even at the home front. But now when you come to the office, ni kama ni sisi ndio tulikosea.
In psychology, we call it displacement.
Displacement.
Yes. What you're doing is really just displacing. I am angry, for example, at my husband.
Yes.
But he's my husband. What can I possibly do?
Nothing.
So who is the next weakest target? My house help, maybe. And I rain on her, and I am on her like a ton of bricks, because that's the easier person to now displace all my anger and frustration.
Yes.
And do you know how much it happens in homes, Pastor James? Unfortunately, if the man in the house has done something and the lady is not able to express it and can't speak about it, but she's angry, she's human.
Yes.
So she displaces to the help, because that's an easier target.
Yeah.
We look for the easier target, of course. But when you leave, the house help has to look for an easier target.
Your child.
Who happens to be your child.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Do you see?
So at the end of the day, your child
And maybe
suffers.
your husband came home with whatever he poured on you because his boss. Naye boss alikuwa ametoa kwake.
Oh my goodness. Vicious cycle.
Yes. And somebody must be mature enough and healthy enough to cut and say, no, I'm not going to push this to the next person.
Yeah.
Who will push it to the next person? How about I deal with it here? And we finish it.
Yes.
So that's why I'm saying, first of all, let's own the feeling. Whatever it is it anger? Is it fear? Do you know there are people who instill fear in others?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether it's a way of dominating them, there are people who love to instill fear. So if you're putting fear in me, how am I supposed to deal with it? I see you, or you call my name and I run to the loo? Really?
Yeah.
How about I face, okay, why do I fear James? What do I think he can do? If this is a boss, what do I think he can do? He could probably sack me, or, or give a bad recommendation, or whatever it is. Face all that. What am I going to do?
Yes.
And believe me, there is nobody in this life that you cannot face and say to them, this is how I feel.
Wow.
There is no one, not a boss or a spouse or a child or a parent. You can face any person and tell them this. But you see, you're not reacting.
No.
You're acting. You have owned that feeling, and you have decided this is how it's making me feel. I need to express it.
Listen to this. This one comes from somebody in Malindi. They say, praise Jesus. Pastor James, I love you.
Oh, really? Did you blush?
I thank God for the grace he has given you. I'm 30 years old. I've grown up in a broken family, never had the loving embrace of a dad. I'm attracted to many spiritual fathers, but they repel me once they sense my love thirst. I've been praying. My pastor has been trying to help, but it's tough. Love thirst. I've never had that one.
Yeah, that's a new one.
Yeah.
But it does say exactly what he's thirsting for. So growing up, nobody expressed any love to him. And chances are, he also doesn't know how to express that love. So why are they, he says the pastors repel, eh?
Yeah.
Is it him that repels them?
It seems like the way he comes on.
Yeah, he comes on maybe too strong.
Yeah.
And they're wondering, hey, pump on the brakes, brother.
Come slowly.
Yes, come slowly.
Yeah.
Why? Because maybe, I don't know him, but maybe even the way he expresses this need is not appropriate. And I'm not insinuating anything ungodly. I'm just saying sometimes you come on to people so strongly You cling on to them.
Yes.
And they're thinking, no, just give me a break. You know? Remember, we are saying, own the feeling.
Yeah.
Now, that's a feeling of love that he's looking for and also wants to express. Own it and acknowledge it, but also know how to appropriately express it. Or express this need that you have for whatever you're looking for. So maybe in his searching for this love or someone who can, for a father figure, he comes on too strongly on people. You know? And so people tend to back out. Wait, okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, like, wait.
Yes.
You know? And remember, he's looking for a father figure. That's why he's looking for pastors.
Yeah.
And these pastors, if they are male, as you would almost expect, they also don't know how to express much.
Exactly.
And if it's a woman, then of course a woman will be stopping you like a mile away. Don't even come that close. Not at that speed.
Yes.
You know? So do you see then, I mean, I feel for whoever that is, because there's a chance he may get hurt again.
Yeah, in fact, I was going to ask, in a scenario like that, because you probably are coming off as a bit desperate, is it easy for people to take advantage of you?
Yes, but even easier to hurt you.
Ooh.
Even easier. Because he's dealing with men of God.
Yeah.
Let's give them the benefit of doubt.
Yeah.
They may not go out try to use you and take advantage, but you'll get hurt. I mean, it's as sure can get that you'll get hurt.
Okay.
Because what you're looking for, and with such zeal, not everyone is able to give to you. And some, you'll be shocked. People will look at you, Pastor James. He says he loves you.
Yeah.
I didn't see you blushing. I was hoping I would. But you'll be shocked that you won't. Someone will see you and you look like, and I mean it, you look like you're all well composed and you have it. But maybe inside you don't think you have it.
Yes.
So while I'm busy coming to you, thinking, Pastor James has it, he'll be able to handle me, you are also looking for someone who can handle you.
Yes.
A lot of us are in that category.
Yeah.
So you're coming onto me so strongly looking for this. I don't even have it.
I'm also looking for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm looking for it. Just that I'm not coming out that strongly. Do you know that if we could... there's a phrase that somebody once used, and this was in courtship especially, and this is what they said. If you're looking for a partner, arrive there loved. Don't go there to look for love.
Yeah.
Get there when you're already loved. By who? By myself.
Yeah.
You already love yourself. You already value yourself. You already know who you are. When you get there, you're not gasping, he copy your love. No. You won't find it. You may find another one that is gasping.
Yes.
But if supposing we both got there, loved, there's a lot of love to exchange.
Exactly. I like that.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So he needs to first take a few steps backwards. And what do I need to accept of myself? What do I need to, there's something in psychology we call self-awareness. And this is not a glorification of self. Self has been glorified to very high heights.
Yeah.
This is not a glorification of self. This is like exactly what it says, self-awareness. Being aware of self.
Yeah.
Who am I? What do I like? What don't I like? What can't I do? What can I do? What are my values? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? All that, very, very clear in your mind. When you know that, and what am I looking for, then you will know. If I'm coming to Pastor James, and this is probably what I'm looking for, what have I to offer him?
Yeah.
Because I didn't come all vulnerable and weak.
Yes.
I have come with a strength. What can I offer? And a lot of the times it is what we offer that attracts people to us.
Yes.
But if you have nothing but need,
people will run away.
Clearly, yeah, we're all
Run
human.
away, yeah.
We're human.
Yeah.
So it's very good when we're talking about emotional health. We first need to take a few steps backwards and get a true awareness of who we really are.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good place that he is at, because he knows what is lacking. But what does he have? So that when he goes out, he's not just going to display need.
Yes.
I may be needy in this way, but I can offer this.
Yes.
It is that exchange that actually brings people together.
Okay.
Because nobody wants a liability around them.
Yes.
So for the rest of us, even those who are not necessarily thirsty for, he called it a love thirst.
Yes, love thirst.
Yeah. Even if you're not in that, dire situation, all of us, if you're going to become emotionally healthy, we have to start at a self-awareness place. And then we also have to have empathy. And empathy is always being able to put myself in another person's shoes.
Yes.
So that before I can, did we just talk about acting and reacting?
Yeah.
Before I can react, what if I put myself in your
In their
shoes?
shoes.
And saw things from your perspective. So, listened from your perspective.
Yeah.
And looked at this whole scenario from
their perspective. No, that
And you
takes
see it
energy
differently.
and that takes thinking. Acting takes thought. Reacting, you don't need to think about anything.
No. You don't need to use your head.
No.
Give your head leave.
You just let
react.
loose.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think many of us don't want to spend that energy of, stepping back and asking myself, now that she has said that, now that he has said that, now that I feel this way, what am I going to do?
Let me tell you what I did some time back.
Yeah.
I went to an office. I was going to see someone.
Mm.
And they had given me an appointment for 10 o'clock. I got there just before 10. And then I stayed there for an hour waiting for this guy. He's in a meeting. He's in a meeting and an hour. I'm not a very patient person, I must confess. 1 hour, I think for me the seat was on fire.
You're
Why am I
boiling on the
still
inside.
sitting here?
Yeah.
And so I just sent a message to him. I'm off. Okay. Part is that I had another meeting to go to.
Yeah.
But part is that I was angry.
Yeah. 1 hour.
1 hour is a long time. So I walked out, sent a message, can't wait any longer, need to go somewhere else. And I went. As I was going, I was still seething inside. And while I'm all alone in the car, I'm still feeling bits of, what does it mean?
Yeah.
And I actually said, and I spoke to myself. And when I do that, I actually call myself by name.
Yes.
I said, Wangeshi, are you angry? Why are you angry? What really is the reason why you are angry?
Yes.
First of all, are you angry? Yes. Why are you angry? Is it because you waited? Or is there another feeling that you're not acknowledging? And eventually you come, because you're all alone and you're being honest,
Yes.
you come to the realization you're not angry because you waited.
No.
It's because you feel a bit slighted. You didn't think I was important enough.
Yes.
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 It's really that you feel a bit slighted.
Yes.
And when I said, actually laughed out loud, and I was like, okay, time I grew up, just say to myself, time I grew up. The guy was genuinely busy. He was so apologetic when he came out of the meeting and found I had gone, and he's saying, no, I am so sorry, genuinely. Now, imagine if I had not actually processed that within me. First of all, he'll call and I won't pick up.
Yeah.
Even I am busy.
Process an ATT. Pastor Doctor, I'm hearing voices in my head. You know what that means?
Yes.
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah,
Sawa.
but I believe what you've shared has helped somebody, because we
pray
need
so.
to be emotionally stable and healthy.